Check, check, hello, 1, 2. So we can start.
Let's get right to that top story tonight. The Marlin community
This morning.
You look for Vince.
Yeah, I talked to him.
Cause he was saying, I say, well, if it's not on the agenda, I don't think she can,
No, she can't say anything.
discuss anything.
That's what I told him.
room and said, "Who are you talking about? You just sit here and made a 40." I said, "You can talk if you'd have made an 80." I said, "But you sit there and made a 40."
You couldn't tell her that.
Yes, I did. I said, "So what you gonna do to do better?" Interactive sign-in process. No.
We got our own table now.
You said
Good morning. Hey.
good morning. No,
Take us back here. Good morning.
that no sound.
That's my song.
Look, she gonna get on down here like Dr. B. Wiggins. Look,
What?
Miss Strickland. Look here, B.
Love her. Oh, I need my computer. I need to go to the bathroom, but I don't want to go to the bathroom. The water.
You, I'm sitting up here, why am I going from hot to cold? What's the matter? My screen has been telling me initializing has failed. What is that?
My two-way verification.
Oh,
I
Lord,
want to know.
that kills me.
It is me.
Assume this is Mr. Leonard, and he is always in the crooked.
Hello, Miss Terry.
Hi, y'all looked pretty,
You
Yeah.
didn't swim in.
I did, and thawed out while I was coming in.
I did this morning. I said, that's the slowest I've ever driven tomorrow. 30 miles an hour in the rain. Can't be
Better
sorry.
safe than sorry.
Better
It
safe than
says,
sorry.
last day is June 7th.
That's the last day,
Yeah.
and,
Miss Sanders?
Yes.
Graduation date, June 7th?
hi,
No,
good to see you.
June 27th, June 26th, June 27th, one of those days. It's
Last-
later on in June.
So it's not gonna be the last day of school? June 7th? Oh, good. Because I was gonna say, that didn't interfere with my day. I gotta rent it on the 8th.
No,
Okay.
ma'am.
And,
So she
and
said
they
June
wanted to,
27th.
it wasn't gonna interfere with yours. They wanted to know when's graduation, they were gonna do it the week after. And so, that
Okay.
was gonna be fine, but, okay. I said, oh, I gotta get that date.
Last day of school is June 7th. And she just said, June.
That's pretty late. Rocky does a lot of rentals in the summer,
Yeah.
you know,
yeah.
reunions
Yeah,
and
because
stuff.
we have it in July, also for our reunion, but then I do rent it out the June the 8th for a women's, program that I do, so, yeah. Hey, Monique, how y'all doing?
Hi. Hi, Jesse.
Oh, no, no, do you have the file? Okay.
Hi. Hi, Adam. A regular meeting of the Marlin Independent School District will be held January 22nd, 2024, beginning at 5 p.m. in the Marlin Middle School Library, 678 Success Drive, Marlin, Texas. A live stream and recording of the meeting will be available for viewing on the district's YouTube channel. The subjects to be discussed or considered or upon which any formal action may be taken are listed below. Items do not have to be taken in the same order as shown in the meeting notice. Unless removed from the consent agenda, items identified within the consent agenda will be acted on at one time. We'll have a call to order. And for roll call, Ms. Ehlers? Coach Johnson would be absent, and Berlin Terry, I'm here. And next, we'll have a pledge of allegiance followed by a moment of silence, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. Do we have any public comment?
There were none posted.
Okay, thank you. Next, we'll go on to recognitions, please, for the Lone Star Governance Student of the Month, Teacher of the Month, and School Board Appreciation of the Month.
All right. Good evening, Board Member Terry, Ms. Ehlers, Dr. Henson. So tonight, for our Lone Star Governance Student of the Month, Henry Barrientos Sanchez. He's a dedicated ninth grader here at Marlin ISD. He loves to hang out with friends and enjoys making TikToks with friends. Of course, they all do. Mr. Henry wants to attend TSTC after graduation and pursue his dream of becoming a fast food franchise owner. He loves agriculture and assisting new students around the campus. Let's please join hands to congratulate Henry Barrientos Sanchez. So for our Lone Star Governance Teacher of the Month, for more than 3 decades, Mrs. Connie Massington has been a trailblazer in the world of hairstyling. A seasoned hairstylist and a successful business owner, Mrs. Massington has dedicated her career to the artistry and business of beauty. Beyond the salon, Mrs. Massington has found her calling as an educator. Her passion for sharing knowledge and fostering the next generation of cosmetologists is truly inspiring. Mrs. Massington gracefully balances her career with the responsibilities of being a wife, mother, and grandmother. At the core of Mrs. Connie's identity is the profound and unshakable love for God. This love radiates outward, leaving a positive and lasting impact on everyone she encounters. Please join me in a round of applause for Mrs. Connie Massington. So, our school board members are the unsung heroes of education. They may not wear capes, but school board members play a crucial role in shaping the future of our children. Every decision they make, from curriculum to budgets, impacts the quality of education for thousands of students. Here's why their work matters. Setting the vision, they establish the goals and priorities for the school district, ensuring all students have the opportunity to succeed. Guiding the way, they develop policies that guide everything from teacher qualifications to student safety. Holding the reins, they oversee the superintendent and district finances, making sure resources are used effectively. Listening to the community, they serve as a bridge between the community, the schools, and ensuring everyone has a voice. This month is School Board Appreciation Month, so we would like to thank those that have dedicated their time and their tireless efforts in building a brighter future for our children of Marlin. Together, we can make a difference in the lives of our students, so we'd like to take this time to thank Mrs. Burley Terry, Mr. Johnson in his absence, and definitely you, Mrs. Ehlers, for all of your tireless work that you put in with us. And so I would like to call our campus leaders up at this time to present you all with a very good token of our appreciation. If you all can give a hand clap for our board members.
Thank you, Ms. Terry, for everything you've done for the community and for the school here as well.
You're welcome.
From Marlin Secondary Campus.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you had me.
Ms. Ehlers, Marlin Elementary, we love you and we thank you. We would like you to continue to teach and inspire our young students, whether in daycare or throughout the community. Our young ones created a I Love You, came from our art class for you. And we also want you to relax in your Dr. Teal bath. Enjoy the various chocolate bars. Sip on some Starbucks. I want to put some less. I'm sorry. Light your candle and enjoy your scrubs. And we love you and thank you for your service.
Well, I'll catch it on my way home then. Thank you, thank you.
I'm trying to think. They're gonna have it, so we'll put it behind.
I see you. Sure.
And Board Secretary, Mrs. Terry, Mrs. Ehlers, before we move on to the agenda, I definitely, on behalf of all the employees and students and community, just want to say thank you really for your level of support and care for our students here in the district. Very recently in our times, we have to make tough decisions, but we all believe that you make them in the best interest of the district. So the words thank you sometimes don't mean enough, but it's a true, sincere thanks from myself personally, but also from the educators, teachers, principals, and leaders here at Marlin ISD. So thank you.
Okay, congratulations to you folks over there. And next, we will go into closed session. And pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.074, deliberation of personnel matters. Am I supposed to do that? Do the gavel again. Now we're back in open session, and next will be the superintendent's report.
Good evening, Board Member Terry and Board Member Ayers. Tonight we'll begin the superintendent's report with the BOM 2022 update and meaningful conversations with Mr. Jesse Bustamante.
Good evening, Board Member Mrs. Ayers, Board Member Mrs. Terry, Dr. Henson. The district continues to have meaningful conversations with all of our stakeholders and vendors just to ensure a successful project delivery for our bond projects. Few updates for the bond projects. I want to start with Legion Field. The track and field are completed. The next phase for Legion Field includes press box demolition of the concession stands and the old ticket booth, and then the scoreboard installation and electrical work. I also wanted to inform you that the district received unfortunate news on January 16th regarding the electrical contractor, J&M Construction Services. They're responsible for the ongoing electrical upgrades at Legion Field. We've been notified that J&M is no longer in business and has filed for bankruptcy. This is definitely unexpected and most likely will result in some of the delays for the projects that I just listed for the next phase of that work. However, I do want to assure you that the district remains fully committed to finding a suitable replacement contractor who can efficiently complete the rest of the work. Moving on to the press box construction services bids were due on January 29th for the construction of the new press box. The district did not receive any suitable bids for this project. Unfortunately, the district will have to repost this project. We have done so already, and the bids for that project will be due on February the 6th. The district still has a proposed completion date of August 2024. Moving on to Marlin High School, the asbestos abatement project is in progress. The scope of work has also been finalized for the high school, and we're working on removing all the old furniture and items that we still have remaining at Marlin High School. The proposed construction site plan is also complete. I'll show you a picture of that plan on the next slide. And we've also finalized the contract with the vendor that we selected for that work. Moving on to the new gym, we are still working on finalizing the scope for the new gym. We've had several meetings with the selected vendor for that project, and we hope to finalize our contract with the selected vendor for that project. A few updates for the track and field. You can see our beautiful gray track is complete. Dr. Henson loves it. And our beautiful old press box. So these are some pictures that I took last week, but if you go out there today, no more press box. So we have finally moved on from the old press box, and we can't wait till we get our new press box. This is some of the work that the electrical company that I spoke about earlier in my presentation. They did start the work, and this is the work that we have put out back to bid and hoping to receive a new contractor for that work. This is the site layout, and I just wanted to share with the board and the community that this is the site layout. So the little box that's in blue, that's where the contractor will be setting up shop with all their equipment. So just that everybody's aware, once we do start the work at Marlin High School, this will be a high traffic area for construction. So just keep that in mind. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Marlin High School Properties Disposal and Equipment and Supplies Management, Dr. Stacy Parker Knight.
Thank you. Hey, good evening, Board Managers Terry, Mrs. Ellers, Dr. Henson. Imagine a future where bright new labs equip tomorrow's scientists and our auditoriums hum with the energy of student performance. That exciting future begins now with a thorough cleanup of our Marlin High School campus. This is a critical first step in preparing for the construction to begin, as Mr. Bustamante just implied. So just wanted to give you a timeline. We did a pre-walk on January the 12th. We're going to open up the high school campus to our faculty and staff with an opportunity to retrieve any desired instructional items they may want for their classrooms. Just go back over and see is there anything that they want to pull out to use. Once our staff has gone through to identify any items for keep, then we'll hold a silent auction for our community on February 3rd. According to Vince and looking at all of the things that we have, there'll be several things that they'll be able to auction on, such as old buses, pickups, some of the old furniture that's in the facility and the like. And so looking forward to that to help with the cleanup project at the high school. Are there any questions? So college level English and math skills aren't just about grades and check boxes. They're the building blocks of critical thinking, communication, and problem solving. These are the very skills that empower our graduates to thrive in a rapidly changing world and become informed citizens who shape our future. Tonight I'm going to present Lone Star Governance Goals Measures 4.1 and 4.2. So key strategic measure 4.1 looks at our students that says that they will demonstrate college level English proficiency, and we are now measuring that through Texas College Bridge English completion. So to date, we have 59 seniors. All are on track to successfully complete the Texas College Bridge English course. The majority of our students are already 100% complete, and that's 81.4%, with the other 18.6% still progressing, and many of them are just waiting on their essay revisions to be done and regraded in that. And so all of our students are on track where we need them to be as of today's date. Some of our immediate needs is that we would just continue to actively monitor that completion by the campus principal or the designee. Communication of expectations is how we continue to support the campus leadership in that. And then we are holding senior parent conferences to discuss the college level English course performance status with the parents, with one meeting being held tonight after the meeting. Some takeaways is that we just continue to make sure we keep up with the CCMR criteria that's set forth by the state of Texas, that we monitor the graduation plans for each of our senior, and that we have our in-house tracker, and we continue to update that and monitor the progress of each senior towards a successful completion of all courses. So the same applies for 4.2. However, this says that the students will demonstrate college level mathematics proficiency, and that is measured through our Texas College Bridge math completion. Same as English, all of our students are on track to successfully complete the Texas College Bridge math course. All of them have gotten logons and they're actively working. To date, 76.3 are 100% complete, successful, and the other 23.7% are still working towards completion. Same, we are going to continue to monitor those students in that course as well, and communicate with parents through, excuse me, the senior meeting and conferences about the student progress. And we are going to continue to take the same steps to understand and continue to monitor progress across the board with our CCMR graduation tracker. Is there any questions? For our key strategic measure 4.3, it looks at our students who will demonstrate career readiness, and we measure that through industry-based certification. Right now, the pathways that we offer in the district is business and finance, agriculture, and public service. The certifications that go along with that are as listed. Right now, there are no seniors that are actively pursuing industry-based certifications at this time because they're meeting other criteria for demonstrating college and career readiness. All of our students are exhibiting that through the Texas College Bridge College pathway at this time.
And so, Board Member Terry and Mrs. Ayler, so go back one slide, please. So our students are still enrolled in these pathways, and they're still going to graduate with the endorsement as a part of their high school diploma. However, they're not taking the industry-based certification program.
Test.
Test. So it can run alongside. They've chosen another route to demonstrate college and/or career proficiency. So it's still a part, and we do make 100% of our seniors complete a pathway. Typically in Marlin ISD, we have a whole vocational building where we focus in on agriculture, business and finance, and public service. But I do want to commend our faculty and staff and leadership for, while we're still pushing a strong program in vocational and CTE, we want to make them, I would say, dual or like double-headed strength while still ensuring that level of college preparation if they chose to go that route. So our students, they get both opportunities, vocational and higher level college-based courses.
Absolutely. And so to Dr. Henson's point, one of the things that we are addressing is that we do have and looking at timelines for developing for the industry-based certification completion as a part of the chosen pathway to increase our participation in taking those certifications, letting them know, the students, just letting them aware, hey, even though you get an endorsement in cosmetology, consider taking that test to be a licensed operator. Same for agriculture on the animal side and for business and finance. And we're going to increase, and we're always looking at increasing our pathway and IBC opportunities. Right now, we are participating in the Rural Collaborative where we're looking at additional pathways to bring to the district to strengthen that. And right now, you know, we're piloting it. We have freshmen, select freshmen in our robotics collaborative that go to Rosebud Lot, and they will be prepping to take an industry-based certification that will be designated at a future date through that collaborative, and we'll communicate that when we have an update. So we'll continue again to monitor this as a part of our CCMR tracker with looking at our updating our graduation plan templates to ensure that we are communicating those IBC options that match the enrolled pathways. Any questions? Thank you.
Vision 2025, Key Strategic Measure 6.1, Mr. Adam Lejeune.
Board Manager Terry, Board Manager Ehlers, Dr. Henson. 21st Century School relies on the internet as a resource, allowing students, teachers, and staff to complete their work. Vision 2025, Strategic Measure 6.1 is Wi-Fi and internet uptime measured by our internet outage tracker. As you can see on the tracker, we've only had 2 outages. However, these were 2 pretty severe outages caused by fiber cut somewhere on the route between the carrier side and our side. They were both full-day outages, so 1,140 minutes per day. Even with that, though, we are still above our 99.9% on our goal. And those are carrier outages, so it's not a lot that we actually have a lot of control over. If a fiber gets cut, it's kind of out of our hands. We have to submit the ticket and then wait for them to fix it, but there's not a lot that we can do personally. Our immediate next steps are to continue monitoring the Wi-Fi structure and our internal equipment, and as well as developing robust plans for outages that exceed 4 hours. Right now, the business continuity plan doesn't trigger until 24 hours, but as we saw in the last outage, that's a long time, and a lot of the time the carrier doesn't respond in that amount of time, even for something as severe as a wide area outage like we had the other day. So having some sort of backup plan in place, using a cell service or some other alternative is in the cards for the future. And some of our key understandings and takeaways: most of our internal issues appear to have been solved, but we are still under risk of environmental outages or infrastructure outages that are caused by things like power lines going down or fibers getting cut. And our infrastructure in our area is all provided by a single company, and other businesses lease from that company to sell to other customers. So even changing to a different company is not really going to save us in the event of a fiber cut. So we need to come up with more innovative other ways to avoid those issues. Are there any questions?
2023-2024 Academic Success and Communication by Mrs. Nikki Edwards. And before she begins, I do have to, as always, thank our campus leadership teams, Ms. Gardier, interim principal, Ms. Sanders, Ms. McDavid, and of course the elementary team with Ms. Thomas, Dr. Deloach, and Mrs. Milton. Their communication with parents throughout this entire school year has been phenomenal. When I'm seeing parents out and about getting gas or at HEB, I just ask them, have you heard from the school? I have. Okay. Who have you heard from? And they're talking about the call-outs. I've heard from the teachers. They appreciate the letters. So I know Ms. Gardier just stepped out, but Ms. Thomas, I do want to thank you and your team, because if we're being completely honest, at 602 Donahue, there has not been one complaint that has hit my email. There hasn't been one. At 602 Donahue, I have not heard any concerns as it relates to academics. And so I do think that that's definitely a testament to your leadership, to Ms. Gardier, to Ms. Sanders, Ms. McDavid, Dr. Deloach, Ms. Milton. So I do want to thank you all, and of course to the academics team, Ms. Edwards, Dr. G, Ms. Washington, Ms. Jefferson, and Ms. Mitchell. Y'all are doing a phenomenal job. And Mr. Ely, he stepped out the room. Y'all are doing a phenomenal job, not only in the planning, but the communication of your planning. As we see students walking through the door right now for a 6:15 meeting, because now there's an importance, hey Shirai, there's an importance of academics here and communication. Thank you. So Ms. Edwards.
Thank you, Dr. Henson. Good evening, Board Manager Ms. Terry, Board Manager Ehlers, and Superintendent Dr. Henson. So survivors are those that look at a situation and say, I can make this work. Winners are those who look at a situation and say, I can make this better. We were in a situation this year where we have a teacher shortage like most school districts in the nation, and we met that challenge with our online courses. Our online courses were met with a high level of success, with the majority of our students faring extremely well in those. And we wanted to take this time to further communicate, well, what is the difference between the traditional and the semester-long courses, so that we are all on the same page and that there's no misunderstandings with our parents, our community, and of course, our board. So traditional courses are very much an all or nothing. They are teacher content based. You get one resubmission on tasks that are less than 70%. Your tests are based on a schedule and not student readiness, and the content is what is taught. Versus a semester course, if at first you don't succeed, you try again. It is self-paced. There are multiple opportunities for resubmission. It does teach our students time management and prioritization, with the entire semester being released to them on the first day of the semester, and with them being able to work at their own pace. There's varied times for more challenging tasks. So if I'm in FFA or I'm in the basketball playoffs at this time and maybe cannot give a lot of energy at this time during this unit, I can table that or go to another unit in which it's a little bit easier for me and spend more time when I have a little more time. And it teaches our students. So it doesn't just teach content, but students learn about themselves and how to function in this type of environment. Well, how does that affect our grading? On a traditional, so we say our face-to-face classes, of course, we have our average grading cycles, which are typically 6 to 7 weeks long, and those are averaged out over the 6 weeks. So if I start off, let's say it's hard content this first cycle, and I'm struggling as a student, and I end that first cycle with an end date with 40%, okay? At the next week, after that grading cycle ends, I start over. That 40% is on there. Let's say mom, sees my grade and parent portal, gets on me, I start coming to tutoring, I start handling business, and I improve that second cycle, and I have a 70% for that second cycle, so I'm doing a little bit better. And let's say I learn even more, and my third cycle, I earn a 90%. Awesome. Well, on our traditional grading scales, it's very unforgiving. That 40% is getting averaged, even though I started to learn my lesson. So the average of 40, 70, and 90 on a traditional scale would give the student a 67%. So even though they started handling business at the end, I failed that course and hopefully get a 73 second semester to average that out. Otherwise, I'll be in summer school. Whereas at a semester-long class, which is our online classes, it's a running total. So we don't arbitrarily stop it at grading periods. And for this reason, it would be inappropriate for us to put those grades into our Ascender grade portal because those are off of 6 weeks. It would not match up mathematically, and it would not be supportive of our students, and it would lead to erroneous and arbitrary grades. So if everything is open, let's say same situation, student starts off slow, 40%, but they're continuing to hustle, they go, they resubmit, they pick up the pace a little bit, and they get their grade up to a 70%, continue to work hard, continue to learn their lessons, continue to resubmit, get my grade up to a 90%. It's not the average of the 40, 70, or the 90. It is what I ended with is the 90. So same situation, but in the semester grading with our online courses, this student would end with a 90.
And Mrs. Terry and Mrs. Ehlers, it's important to note that grades are to reflect the relative mastery of content. If by December 13th, I own 90% of the knowledge, I went back, I resubmitted, I made up work, grades have to go away from being punitive of a traditional measure to saying, what percent of the information do you know? If I know 90% of the information, I want a 90%. And I believe there are schools, because college has already gone this way. They've been this way forever. You get a semester grade. How much did you learn from August to December? I think only traditional schools are doing this. Well, how much do you know from August to the middle of September? Then how much do you know from the middle of September to the end of October? And how much do you know from the 1st of November to the middle of December? That realistically sometimes cannot be an accurate reflection of relative mastery. And I believe that in Marlin ISD, not that we're at the forefront of this, I feel like now we're getting more caught up in how we accurately assign our grades to reflect the relative mastery of content for our students.
Thank you, Dr. Henson. And so with that, we cannot put these grades into Ascender because if I am going back and resubmitting, then I can go back and make up maybe an assignment that I did not do well on the first day of that semester. And so how does this affect? We send home our online course grade lines. We started sending them home in July, and we send them home at each of our meetings. Because of this grading practice, we put a P in to just let the parent know that they're progressing. However, we have informed all parents of how they can log in to see their students' real, numeric, accurate grade in real time. We've also let the parents know that at the end of the semester, when the course has concluded, we do go back in and we completely update the grade in parent portal to accurately reflect the student's mastery at that time. But parents can log into the 3 different sites that we use at any time, and they can see their student's grade in real time. They can also reach out to any of the leaders that were sent on the email, and we've hosted open labs that they can sit down and we can sit down side by side with them and log them in and show them how to navigate those portals. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Good evening again, Board Manager Terry, Ms. Ehlers, Dr. Henson. Strong finances bloom into great schools. Let's nurture learning in modern spaces, one thoughtful dollar at a time. Tonight I will present to you the financial report for December 2023. As you can see in your board book, for our general fund, we have in December, which is a very short month, operational-wise, we've not yet received, a large amount of our anticipated revenue, but we did continue to operate school, prioritizing instruction, and of course, keeping the lights and water on. So we continue to have our normal expenditures. As we receive our revenue, this will balance out. I do want to highlight here that I am always in constant communication with our Falls County appraiser to ensure that we are getting those funds in a timely manner. So we keep track with that. For food service, same applies. We did not receive any federal revenue in December and little local, but we continue to feed our children. So we did have our normal expenditures, and once again, as that money come in, the budget should balance out as we continue to get revenue in. For our interest in sinking, this one is an important one. It's one that's I'm constantly monitoring, and it keeps me up at night. We do have our first bond payment due February 15th. So far in the month of December, we only collected a little over $24,000 on our interest in sinking debt to pay back the bond. As you can see, the cumulative total. Now, I did call and I did harass. We've gotten in just a little more, but we're still far from our target. And so I'm speaking with the appraiser on a daily basis. I sent emails out today. Dr. Henson and myself are in constant communication to ensure that if the county appraisal office is collecting these funds on our behalf, that we get them in time. We don't have the luxury of missing that deadline. And so I am aggressively ensuring that we get the $2 million that we are supposed to have by February.
Mrs. Terry, Mr. Ayler, Dr. Parker's being nice. As of today, right now, so this payment of $2 million is due
February 15th.
February 15th. All we have received from Falls County is around $350,000.
Yes.
We're $1.7 million short.
Yeah.
We have a payment due in less than a month. So I'll be honest, I'm gonna get in contact with the attorney this week because we need the $1.7 million in revenue, because the other payments sometimes they have came in slow.
Yes.
And we have a fund balance and we make it work and then the money comes in.
Yeah, no option.
But that's typically, we do that when we're in June, July, when it's a slow month. It is the middle of February. I don't feel comfortable going into our fund balance for $1.7 million in the middle of the year to make a bond payment to hopefully get reimbursed by the county for taxes. Right. So Dr. Parker's being nice, but I want to have on the record with full transparency, we're going to work with the county to ensure that in the appraisal office and the FCAD that we receive the remaining $1.6 to $1.7 million by the February 15th deadline.
He's right. And I'm being nice, but not so nice when it comes to collecting the money to the individuals we're talking to. You're right. Thank you, Dr. Henson. In our construction account, just again, the revenue annotates the monthly interest that we receive from investing those funds so that we continue to receive some additional revenue to do all the bells and whistles. You saw the press box go down, so this should surely help us get that dream press box that Mr. Johnson wants. And then the expenditures are just what we pay out in our construction. We don't hold that money in the cadence account. We move it over from the pooled accounts that's gaining interest when it's time to make a payment. So this is really not reflective of money in, money out. We have the $31 million in the accounts to spend. Here, the investments are growing, so I had to split it up to two slides and pages this time, but just wanted to highlight the interest that continues to accrue in those pooled accounts. We have our local maintenance. Some of our funds are in a text pooled account as well. We keep enough in cadence to operate day to day, but we do accrue interest on the biggest portion of our funds so that that amount can grow as well. You see our text pool School Construction that manages the Legion Field project, and our Fidelity and First Public accounts is what we're doing for the high school project. So as you see, the interest that's accruing will just strengthen our purchasing power. Also, on the second page is the list of our cadence accounts, and this is where we do our day-to-day operations. So we maintain funds in our local maintenance account to operate. We still have a little bit in a money market. And then again, we've already discussed the interest and sinking account, which we need more money to be deposited there. In your board book, you will see the full month of December check registry, but I did highlight a snippet here just to give you a glimpse of some of the checks that have gone out for that month. Are there any questions? Investing in student well-being isn't a cost, it's a catalyst for academic success, stronger communities, and brighter futures. So tonight, I'll present and ask for the board's approval to adopt a 2024-2025 wellness plan. We have a responsibility as a school to help our students and staff develop and maintain lifelong healthy eating patterns. We will involve our students, parents, teachers, food service professionals, health professionals, and all interested community members in developing, implementing, and monitoring our district-wide nutrition and physical activity policies. So all of the trials that Ms. Barbara does in the cafeteria, getting feedback from our students on meals that they like. Mr. Bustamante is currently overseeing an initiative, as you all witnessed, to try to bring healthier options into the school, as well as the campus leaderships working with the PE teachers to ensure our students have daily physical activities, which could include recess as well at the lower level. All of our students in K-12 do have these opportunities. We encourage the physical activity on a daily basis, and this is all in alignment with the USDA guidelines for our students in our schools. Any questions? Thank you.
Vendor contract, design build services, Marlin High School interior space renovations, and new entrance.
Board Member Mrs. Ehlers, Board Member Mrs. Terry, Dr. Henson. The vision is closer than ever as we stand on the verge of a major milestone in the Marlin High School renovations project. If approved tonight, we will set the stage for a high school that not only inspires excellence, but also fosters a sense of belonging and community. Just to refresh your memory, contract negotiations for the selected vendor that was selected on November 13th, 2023. The district attorney has had the opportunity to review that contract, and the contract was finalized in January of 2024. We're here tonight asking for your approval to move forward and finalize the contract with Target Solutions. The project timeline for this project is 15 months. And the contract amount is $12.5 million. Scope of work for Target Solution includes redesign of specific interior spaces, interior finishes, upgraded lighting, high school building renovations, AC and HVAC upgrades, roofing, design and construction of new school entrance, and band hall renovations. Are there any questions? Moving on to the purchase of big statues related to Bond 2022 projects. Imagine entering Legion Field on a Friday night and being greeted by the noble and iconic presence of a bronze bulldog mascot statue. This project includes a 4-foot bronze bulldog statue that would be located at the new entrance of Legion Field. Project consists of bulldog fabrication, clay work, molding work, artist fee, and artwork for sketches. This will be a design that starts from scratch, and they will be designing it specifically for Marlin ISD. I did want to make a note that several districts in the area, my personal favorite is Temple ISD, their Bobcat that is located, actually their Wildcat, forgive me, the Wildcat. That's located in the front of their stadium is really nice. So we won't be the only school that has this kind of statue. And definitely our students at Marlin ISD deserve the best. And this is just a sense of pride that you'll see at the stadium. The vendor selected is Big Statues. They're a company that's based out of Utah. They have custom sculptures and they have over 25 employees. The cost of this project is $28,700. Are there any questions? Moving on to architectural and engineering services related to our bond 2022 projects. To refresh your memory, MRB Group was selected on November the 13th. District attorney reviewed this contract. We also finalized it in the month of January. We're here today asking for consent to move forward and finalize the contract with MRB Group. The contract amount is $588,000 and the project timeline is 15 months. Scope of work: programming, schematic design, mechanical engineering, assistance with bidding packages, construction documentation, and construction administration. Are there any questions?
And board members, these for 10C, D, and E all come from bond funds, and they are within the budget and scope of work.
Thank you.
And this concludes the superintendent's report.
Okay. After hearing the consent agenda, do have a motion to accept?
I motion that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
And I'll second it. And all in favor, raise your hand. Okay. No opposition. Okay, motion's passed, and the next item on the agenda is the adjournment. Okay, and I second, and so we are adjourned. I'm hesitant with that gavel.